This trip to Japan marked my first time going out the country, and while I was technically on break from school, I learned so much more than I intended to on this trip. I learned perspective. The sights were really cool and all, but what really interested me the most was the people. Coming from an area with limited public transportation, it's easy to ignore people and carry on with your life without coming into contact with people you don't want to. But sitting on the Tokyo metro surrounded by sleeping Japanese businessmen, girls in all-black Lolita clothing despite the 80-degree weather, kids reading manga, and then me, some black guy wearing otaku clothes. I've met Japanese people that loved hip-hop and never been to Akihabara. I met Japanese people that go to Akihabara every day. I met student athletes. I also met NEETS. Growing up in a very sheltered environment, I rarely had time to hang out with friends outside of a strict school setting. But since the day I landed in Japan, it felt like I could do whatever I wanted and go wherever I wanted and be whoever I wanted to be. In this short time, I felt more alive than I ever had before. It was a certain freedom that I have never truly experienced until going on this trip, and I'm grateful to have this opportunity. Something that I surprisingly enjoyed were maid cafes. My second day in Japan, my friend called me up as he claims that he's been to maid cafes over 30 times. Many people would consider that these attractions are somewhat misogynistic to an extent, and I somewhat agree, but a part of me also feels quite the opposite. On the surface level, it's easy to see how this can play into the male fantasy, and it's obviously men wanting women to serve them. But at the end of the day, what it really was an opportunity for women willing to withstand annoying men to get a bag. While it was insanely cringe, I found it to be one of the most enjoyable experiences. I understand it was a fantasy, but everyone there was really nice and polite, even for Japan standards. In the cat girl cafe that I went to call the waiter, you would have to meow, but in Japanese, so nyan. And I thought it was so funny because they would have to respond as fast as possible. And one of the girls almost like fell over a chair, and I thought that was the most hilarious, wholesome, cute thing ever. But yeah, you just gotta go to one of those. I remember first walking in, and the people working there recognized that I was in my otaku attire, and they complimented me on my ReZero shirt and said that she likes both Rim and Ram, which was pretty not what I was expecting. They really do know their clientele, to say the least. It was super surreal, to say the least. Girls dancing in cat ears, 40-year-old businessmen celebrating their birthday. Objectification aside, it was quite frankly really wholesome. It gave me hope that in the future, probably not in this exact type of setting, that I could have such a positive experience with women as I had with the workers in this cafe. Maybe in the future, when I can do better. While walking around Shinjuku with my aunt, I had a half-joking debate about the population crisis in Japan. I marveled at the idea that a country such as Japan could have such a problem, which the answer is as simple as having children. But at the end of the day, nothing is that simple. She basically pointed out to me that worrying about such a thing is quite frankly stupid. And while I disagree to the fact that I'm a horny young man with a lopsided view on politics, it makes sense. Why worry about it? Sometimes I worried that I might not get a girlfriend or meet someone that wants to have intercourse with me. But if no one does, why worry about it? Sometimes I wonder if my worrying is the reason why I can't achieve those things, or maybe I wonder if that's just the way things are. Should I be concerned? Should I try harder? Should I try less? Should I give up, or maybe make it my life's goal? I don't know. But what I do know is that I want to come back to this place again, as soon as possible. Thank you, Japan. P.S. I recommend trying as much karage as possible, and this particular iced chocolate milk at vending machines, it's really good. But it makes you poop a lot. Like, a lot.